Vulfpeck. Who are they? Why are they? How did I get here? I want to convey to you, somehow, just a fraction of my love for this band. This really is answering the personal question of why I am obsessed with Vulfpeck, because I think it is different for everyone. I fell into the groove in the summer of 2020 and have since grown into a fully mature Vulfpeck fan. Let's cover the basics.
They've got 16 mutual friends. Animal spirits.
Vulfpeck is debatably a four-piece funk group formed in 2011 by alumni and students of the University of Michigan. The band consists of Jack Stratton, band originator, leader, and producer, Theo Katzman, Woody Goss, and Joe Dart. Though they were the original members, it's rare to find a Vulfpeck song which doesn't feature other artists, such as Corey Wong, Antoine Stanley, Christine Huckle, and Joey Dosick, to name a few. With the large community of musicians surrounding Vulfpeck, I think it's fitting to begin with a discussion of Vulfpeck's playfulness, something that I believe is central to their success. Vulfpeck records a video for every song, and somehow all of them entertain. In even the simplest of their videos, it's immediately obvious that each musician is having an excellent time. They transport you into the world of their music just by being visibly invested in what they're playing. There's very little pretense, and the focus is on spontaneity over refinement. According to Joe Dart, some of the magic comes from them being on edge during their takes. They rarely do more than 4 takes of a song, and in order to completely ignore video fidelity, every video is recorded on the 8mm app for iPhone. Jack describes it as something of a happy accident that this low-maintenance filming strategy became such an essential feature of the band, but it nonetheless contributes to the Vulf style. Their general not taking oneself very seriously permits other artists to be spotlighted without appearing out of place in Vulfpeck's catalog, so the music is often fresh and given the tint of whoever happens to be playing. Each video resembles more of a super tight, informal jam session than a studio recording. Corey Wong describes Jack's band leadership as teeing everyone up to win within the situation. It's maybe not a radical idea, but Vulfpeck pulls it off with finesse. The strategy is audible in the phrasing of tracks, such as Disco Ulysses. Jack's drumming creates the song's structure, within which each of the other musicians can be spotlighted. He provides the punctuation for the sentence, and each time he breaks it down, the song transitions into another phase.
On the Vulfpeck stage, you can turn the lights off except for a spotlight on any one of those guys. When I see Woody do his, Woody's the secret weapon. He's an incredible musician. He can play his ass off on piano in a way that I've really never seen.
Lyrically, Vulfpeck are pretty funny, with many of their songs being borderline nonsensical. Often the way that the lines are conveyed is more important than the content, particularly when Antoine Stanley is featured. As Stratton says,
the entire conceit of Antoine singing my lyrics is that it sounds etched in stone.
Yeah.
And then you listen to what he's saying, And it's just absurd, you know, it's completely absurd, and it sounds like it was sent down from God.
Their first 2 EPs contain no lyrics, apart from the odd. So I'm sure their origin as a purely instrumental band has something to do with the musicality of the vocals being the priority. On later albums, there's sometimes a narrator present, with the most absurd yet perfectly fitting interludes. Take Darwin Derby.
It's a beautiful day to be alive, alright.
All the creatures in the sea, my favorite is the bass. It climbs up all the rocks and trees and slides down on its hands and knees. But why does the shark have teeth?
Mr. Finish Line.
A feline saved by a Stratton keeper. He rolls it out to Catsman, the spiritual leader and sweeper. A quick pass to Huckle.
Or Conscious Club.
Close your eyes and earth dive in the mud. Watch your thoughts. We're going to the Conscious Club.
They hold maturity and playfulness together in some mysterious way, which is perpetually inspiring to me, and I think it has played a big part in their overall appeal.
Relaxation. If he likes your improvisation, he'll take you to the train station. They're so close.
Way back on the Vulf channel are a bunch of videos which demonstrate Jack Stratton's interest in expressing sound visually. In the early days, he often experimented with music notation through video and accenting beats. We still see this with modern Vulfpeck, but it's closely integrated with their music videos. They've honed their style for YouTube, so the graphics don't just accompany the music, but enhance it. The visuals make the rhythm and funk more accessible. I think it works because the production style is so visceral, so immediate, that even without video, their music activates a part of my mind where sound and visuals collide. I probably can't call it synesthesia, it's not like I hallucinate, but their music has a pulse to it. They are known for using close miking on many instruments, and copious levels of audio compression, creating a super crunchy sound. I find that the close sounding instruments contrast with the more natural and spatial sounds, so the effect is that their songs feel quite vivid. Sometimes the contrast is accentuated through post-production tweaks, like on Back Pocket, where the level of reverb is lowered towards the end of the bridge.
But it's hard for me to read out loud. Oh gee, oh gosh.
The visceral feeling is also helped by little ASMR sounds, such as the popping you just heard. A similar thing is on Christmas in LA. Or listen to the whistle on Half of the Way.
Unless you let me in, we're out for the
I honestly love these tiny additions, like little sonic candies.
the half of the way.
For the Vulf newcomer, a refreshingly transparent window into their production piques the interest. They soon discover official piano tutorials, free to download audio stems, the Vulf compressor audio plugin, the Vulf font family, etc. And suddenly you find yourself far too deep in. There's a self-contained Vulf planet you land on. From the first moment you touch one of their videos, you know one of their motifs. Not only prefacing every video, but also in Christmas in LA. Welcome to Vulf Records. And sometimes just out of the blue.
Thank you, Marcus.
One of my favorite motifs is the back pocket clarinet solo.
No, it's not too late.
Also in Mr. Finish Line, and Business Casual.
I just want to talk about hiking off the way up and keep the business.
It's hardly, it's not Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but it just feels so good.
The Vulf brand and aesthetic is so defined that it's easy to take for granted, but every musician is part of a lineage of other artists and creators. The immortalization of content on the internet means that anybody can become their own historian, and Jack Stratton prods you to investigate Vulf history. Take Wait for the Moment, where a backstory of Antoine Stanley is provided, and the long-standing myth that they're a German funk outfit based out of Munich is propagated.
Years ago, I met the speech pathologist Antoine Stanley, and I mentioned that he should consider to sing. He laughed, and I gave him my email. Years later, I received an email from Antoine saying he would like to sing. With no song, I sent the Vulfpeck and a camera crew. The result? Remarkable.
There are many aliases in the Vulf universe. See
Mushy Krongo, I blow the shofar at Bet Dam Synagogue in Klinglein Zohar.
Hi guys, Craig Stewart's from Craig Stewart's Vocal Shul. We're about to...
DJ Paradiddle, the elusive DJ Bean Ornish, or Vulfmon, director of Vulf Records. The Vulfpeck is the house rhythm section for the Vulf label.
Semantically, it makes sense. You have the Vulfpeck,
Peck,
you have
and the
Vulfman.
Backing up other featured artists. They emulate the session musicians of the 60s and 70s, envisioning themselves as a German version of the Funk Brothers or the Wrecking Crew, who were in the shadows of thousands of recordings. But they also invert this by having a large brand of their own. Part of what Vulfpeck does is take excellent musicians who lack their own brand and synthesize them into the Vulf universe.
All this good stuff leading into this one recognizable name.
Stratton cites a large Jewish influence musically and comedically for Vulf. He drummed in his dad's klezmer band, Yidisha Cup, and mentions idols like
Mickey Katz, all the greats, yeah. Mel Brooks, Woody Allen.
As Mushy, he released an album titled Shabbos, My Way.
Why am I here? What's one supposed to make of all of this?
When you grow up steeped in American Jewish humor, to free yourself from all irony would I don't know what that process would look like. Primal scream therapy.
We also get a 43-minute video of him blowing a shofar with a single breath. Rather impressive. There isn't really anything like a Vulf video, but the greatest influence might be 80s cinema and academia, particularly from Germany. Look at the 1987 film Wings of Desire and The Library, with circles upon circles, super defined geometry shot on film, and you see the resemblance to practically any Vulf video. Vulfmon is supposedly a professor of digital media at the Universität Halle-Wittenberg, and you can see his aesthetic shining through. You get the feeling he lives in some sort of 80s academic utopia. The album cover for Thrill of the Arts greatly resembles brutalist structures from the 80s. They're mixing these historical vibes with careless, obviously digital effects, a trademark of the internet era. They bridge the gap between the internet generation and top-notch funky artists of the 20th century. They feature legends who pioneered previous styles of music, like David T. Walker, Bernard Purdie, Bootsy Collins, James Gadsden, Michael Bland, and pay homage to the late Richard T. They give the classic rhythm section new life with digital additions, while remaining grounded as four great instrumentalists. Vulfpeck owes a lot to the internet for their rise to prominence. They didn't perform live at all for their first 2 years, and making the transition was a real worry for the band. Something about the members coming to prominence online turned them into icons, which the band capitalizes on.
Joe! Dart on the Joe! Dart!
Stratton fosters their publicity through online stunts, such as Sleepify, a silent album on Spotify which funded their admission-free tour in 2014 and launched the band into prominence in the media. Recently, they auctioned off the auditory real estate of track 10 on their album The Joy of Music, The Job of Real Estate, for 70 grand. Or maybe it's just spending 25 minutes dancing under your drone. If you knew about Vulfpeck already, I hope you feel like I did them an ounce of justice. And if you didn't, you have literally everything to live for. Go sit down with one of their albums. I started with The Beautiful Game, and I still think it's a good place to begin. The band is veritably self-obsessed, but funk and humor are such a part of their makeup that most people would forgive them for it. They are the biggest well of joy and goof, and you just can't help but get carried away in their music. They've honestly helped me through this pandemic by giving me permission to groove alone, and I cannot wait to see them one day. They're truly contagious and leave you with the feeling that you need to pick up an instrument as soon as possible.